Welcome back to Soda City Live. It is Be Well Wednesday, and April is Alcohol Awareness Month. Why is that important? Well, today we're going to be talking about the mocktail movement. It's a new trend. You might have heard of it, but it's a way for us to enjoy our favorite drinks or your favorite drinks without the booze. All right. Well, joining me today is dietitian and diabetes educator with Lexington Medical Center, and that's Kay McGinnis. And I have Josh Willoughby, who is a familiar face as well as Kay, and he's from the Market on Main. I'm so glad to have the two of you joining me today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So we have one person who's going to tell us about the benefits and the health aspects of mocktails, and then we have one person that's going to tell you where to get it, and we're going to talk about the drinks in front of us. But Kay, we're going to start with talking about why mocktails is like a better alternative.
You know, anything that we take in our body has a good side and a bad side. So alcohol is one of those things. It can help with some and not help with some other things. Most important thing I think is to make sure that we are mindful of how much we're taking in, right? And how often we're taking it in. So there's some research that says we should not drink for health purposes. You know, we follow that Mediterranean diet. Lots of folks think that that means that you should have 3 or 4 glasses of red wine every night. Not true.
Now when you say that, because I know we've all seen those reports and those studies, what is the proper amount of drinks that you should intake?
So, 2 light beers. If you are a man, 2 glasses of wine, not 2 glasses of wine. 1 glass of wine if you're a female, and it doesn't matter if it's red or white, or 1.5 ounces of liquor, or whiskey, or gin, or those kinds of things. Right. The key word is or, not and. Right? And the other thing that's important to keep in mind is the body doesn't have the ability to say, okay, well, I've been really good Monday through Thursday. Friday, I think I'm going to have a little bit of a party and have 12, right? So it's a use it or lose it situation is what we teach when we're teaching about how to include that as part of a healthy lifestyle.
Now, I'm looking at this, and at first I was like, she's touching the beer, but it's not real. I was scared, like, oh my gosh, she's going to knock it all over. No. But we're talking about the different different types of drinks, but let's talk about the sizes, because you do have different sizes in front of you today.
So it's a 12-ounce beer is what is typically considered that serving size. For wine, whether it's red or white, it's a 5-ounce pour. Now, my oldest son just got married, and he got a plethora of beautiful wine glasses, right? None of them are this size. Right, so that's an important thing to keep in mind is that serving size. So it's a 5-ounce pour. Now, Josh, when you're in the business, is that a standardized pour or?
For a wine glass, yes. Yeah. For like a cocktail, no. So like this cocktail would be 8 ounces, and this would be about 10 ounces. So it would just depend, and then obviously beer can be up to 20 ounces. I mean, so. You do have to be kind of careful about the sizes as you're mentioning. And
there's some talk in the literature of making it a consistent serving size for males and females, that it's 1 glass of wine, right? And not 2 for the males and 1 for the females. So more to come on that as we navigate. Oh. Yeah. And, there's always, the biggest thing I think is, when we're talking about alcohol is, the liver has to detox it when it comes in, and then we start talking about calories. And if we're carrying that excessive weight, you're talking about high blood pressure, maybe some things going on with your cholesterol levels, maybe some things going on with your blood sugar. And then, if we carry that extra weight, there's all kinds of things that come with that, I mean, non-alcoholics, we call it NASH. That's one of the newest things. And for most of us, especially those of us in South Carolina, it's probably more our weight impacts the heart and the blood pressure and our blood sugars more than anything for us. I think those are our 3 big issues.
That's good to know. Well, Josh, I don't want you standing here for too long, but I do want us to talk about the drinks that you brought here. So these are actually some drinks that are non-alcoholic that you have on your menu. Now, these 2 drinks, I want you to tell us the name of them, and do you have any other drinks?
Yes, so this is this smaller drink in the rocks glass here is a cucumber cooler, and it's actually got cucumber, Fresno chili, cilantro, lime, and a little bit of tonic water in there. And then this is a Forbidden Garden is the name of this drink, but it's basically kind of like a berry drink. So it's got pomegranate cordial, it's got some lychee fruit in there, and then a little dehydrated lemon wheel as well, and also the base is tonic water. So definitely mocktails are obviously really good for money purposes because
Right.
all these cocktails are only $6 versus most of our cocktails are 10 or 12 bucks. So you get a little bit of savings by not drinking the alcohol, but then obviously they're also a lot less calories as well. So this one, just because it has so many fruits in it, it's more like 75 calories, and this is probably more like 50 calories. But they're all going to be under 100 calories. So the alcohol is obviously converts into sugar and that kind of thing. So it's you know, the main thing in terms of obviously cost being more expensive, but then also you know, fattening you up, I guess, a little bit.
Right. The one thing I also like, I love how colorful this is. So if you're not a person that drinks, it's like you still get the drink in your hand. Look, you get the nice, I love that. You get the vibe of it. And as you were talking about the ingredients, they sound pretty healthy. So I mean, I don't feel as guilty drinking that now. How many of those can we drink, Kay?
So tonic has high fructose corn syrup in there. So you may be a little bit, you know, depending on how serious you are about this. I could make this a little bit better by doing a seltzer water right in there, but I love the concept of the lime and the cucumber. That's one of my favorite things. So this is about 1.5 ounces of liquor, and it's going to have about 100 calories depending, right? So if it's like vodka is a little bit less, it's 100 calories. I think whiskey, gin, they're around 100, around 110. And then depending on your wines and then the stoutness of your beer, with all the new microbrewery beers, I think they have a lot more alcohol content in them. So that's really going to drive up those calories.
Now, I do want to kind of segue back to the alcoholic drinks. Now, I know some people, we talked about a little bit about the amount of drinks, but what about in moderation? Like, how is it still, what's the best?
2 light beers or a glass of wine or 1.5 ounces of liquor. That would be moderation. So as far as your health purposes are concerned.
So if a person is, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question, but drinking is not the best, right? So and I'm not saying that, but it's if you should drink or not, if it's beneficial at all to drink. So how many drinks is good? Like,
there is no is good. You know, what we just say is this is, you know, kind of a general guideline to go by, right? And again, you know, I mean, I have girlfriends that drink a bottle of red wine every night because they think that's part of that Mediterranean diet, and they gain a little bit of weight. So again, doing everything in moderation. So a glass of wine, and then maybe trying to figure out, you know, like if I'm at a party, I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to have more ice in my beverage. I might have a little bit of a sparkly drink in between my beverages to kind of stretch it out, so I get more of that moderation.
You know what I like when you're talking, what I think of, you know, some people when they think of drinking, they think of having or pre-gaming, but this is having a pre-game plan. So before you go somewhere, you already have in your mind how you need, if you're going to indulge in alcohol, you know, you talk about the way you could drink it and drinking in moderation. What I do want to thank the both of you for joining me today. We are running short on time. Thank you so much for these amazing details, showing us the descriptions here. And Josh, thank you as always for sharing us some of the amazing items from your menu. Just a few because you have a non-alcoholic drink. But for those who are not familiar with Market on Main,